Gautam aka the Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to get people to return the money that they might owe you and a success story based on that particular topic from my client. Now, before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching. So I offer hourly, monthly, email, and DM coaching along with premium coaching right now, which is basically unlimited calls and unlimited DMs. I also have 2 Facebook groups right now. So I have a free Facebook group where I post resources and my videos in advance, as well as discount codes for my coaching. And I have a paid Facebook group where you guys can ask me questions, as well as I'll host live sessions, 3 to 4 per month, as well as exclusive materials. And I'll be uploading some of my courses, so every month I will have something free for them. So this month I'm having remove your third party course for free. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys can email me or DM me as well. I also have a mailing list where I post articles from time to time, as well as my latest offers for coaching. And I also have a Manifest Your SP bundle, as well as my self-concept course available as well. If you guys need any information on that, feel free to email me or DM me via Instagram, and I'll give you guys the pricing options, and we can figure out what plans may be suitable for you as well. So without further ado, guys, let's get to it. I'm in a bit of a rush right now, simply because I'm going on a vacation in a couple hours, and I really wanted to get this video out before that, simply because it's still fresh on my mind, and I really wanted to talk about this topic because I feel that it's not being spoken very often. I don't think I've made a video on this. I feel like I did make one, but that might be for Instagram a very long time ago, so I'm not sure. But still, I felt like a refresher would be ideal in this situation. So this client of mine is the same client that I posted on my Instagram story not too long ago about her boss's signature. So if you guys didn't know about that story, basically she was shifting companies, and one of her bosses was refusing to sign because she didn't want to name the reason as to why she didn't want to why she's leaving the company, and she didn't want to continue there. And long story short, we intended for the best. We set the intention, we affirmed that everything will be fine, and he eventually signed the paper and whatnot. So I shared that story on Instagram, so you can find it on my highlights as well. And this same client also had another query down the line, and that is what we are going to be talking about. It is, how do you get someone to pay you back money? So I'm going to be reading a few of her texts, so that you guys can follow the story, I guess. So she said, I got a quick question. Which technique is the fastest way to manifest money back? Our neighbor borrowed some money from my sister months ago, and she still hasn't given the amount back. She is fully capable and even owns a restaurant, so I don't know what the delay is for. But I set an intention that she would remember to give my sister her money back. My sister is too kind and too shy to bring it up or remind her about it. So what do you think I can do to manifest it? So I highlighted a couple of different things in a voice note, so I can't read this. So she said, thank you so much, I'll keep you posted. So about 5 hours later, she texts me, that was fast, alhamdulillah. She paid my sister back. All I did was set an intention, felt gratitude that she already paid her back, had an inner conversation with her, and boom, right? So she set an intention, felt gratitude, and had an inner conversation, right? So the 3 things, right? Because those were some things that I highlighted. Essentially what I told her was like, set the intention that, okay, this person has already paid, be grateful for it, that it has already happened, and having inner conversations with this person. So that may look like, hey, return my money back and thank you for doing so. It's just like, okay, here you go, you're welcome, something like that, right? Some sort of a conversation, or hey, you're now returning my money, and like them saying yes. It's like sort of like those conversations that Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars has, like when he does the Jedi mind trick, like these are the droids you're looking for, and then the stormtrooper just literally just regurgitates that, right? So these are the droids I'm looking for. So it's something like that. It's like basically telling them what to tell us, basically, or what to do for us, basically. And that's what the sort of gist of the inner conversation really is. And she said like, plus you put in a little bit of work and use the power of your mind and connect to the divine source and the provider of this universe, manifests, and it manifests overnight. So like she just says, like if you just put in a little bit of work in mental work, this isn't like action in the 3D, she's referring to the mental work here. And use the power of your mind, which is basically leaving it all up to the subconscious, impressing it in the subconscious mind essentially. And that happens through repetition, right? And yeah, she's basically, when she says like connect to the divine source and the provider, that is basically surrendering, right? So when she does all these things, what happens? Within 5 hours, something that was pending for months gets really done very quickly. So this is the essence of it, right? So what I would say is that when you guys persist, right, it just flows for you, right? It just flows for you. Things just, become so easy. So when someone owes you money, what do? You have an inner conversation with this person, right? Telling them to return. And gratitude really cements the idea that it's done. This is what I really wanted to highlight in this story, was the gratitude part. When you are grateful for something that's being, in the process of being done right now, essentially what you're telling your mind is, hey, it's already done, which is why I'm feeling grateful for it, right? So when you see it in your mind as a done deal and you thank your higher self for it, you are developing the idea that it's already done. Let's say if I want a black Lamborghini and I say, thank you, universe, it's already done, for example, something along those lines, what I'm essentially doing is cementing the idea that I already have this Lambo, which is, the reason why I'm feeling grateful. So gratitude really cements the idea that our desires are already done. And I feel like this was a key proponent in, her story, as well as in many of my stories as well. Not too long ago, someone owed me money for like 6 months too. And, for that, what happened with me was, I kept changing the story in my mind. And, like, what I eventually did was I dropped it, because I used to check up on this person, but like, this person like didn't really get back to me after like a month, despite it being like prolonged for 6 months at one point. And then, at one day I just had the urge to, text this person and just tell this person like, what's going on, and like, if you could tell me, maybe we can work something out and things like that, right? So I told her that like it's been, pending for 6 months, so I would really appreciate it if we could, work something out. And immediately, like, she sends me like whatever that was owed. So in those 6 months, like, this was, a while back, so which is why it took me a while, I would say. But essentially what happened was I had an inner conversation, right? I had an inner conversation with this person, and I kept putting in the idea in my mind that, okay, this person has already paid it, this person has already paid it, this person has already paid it. I kept ingraining that in my mind. And lo and behold, like, when I did reach out to that person, and in this story of mine, the only difference between my client's story and my story would be me reaching out to this person. And I only did that because there was a sudden urge to do so. And I just acted upon that urge, right? And this was something that was so out of the blue. I was just going on a random day, and it really came so suddenly, and I couldn't explain the urge. Like, it was so, intense, like, okay, do this immediately out of the blue. So when I finally did it, it just came to me. And I also had another story where, like, this person, this was I think maybe at this point it's maybe about 2 years, right? So this person owed me a bunch of money too, right? And I remember, like, I didn't want, because he wanted to trade something instead of giving me the money that I was owed and things like that, right? He wanted to give me something instead of the actual money that I was owed, which I did not accept. So what I ended up doing was, setting that intention and telling him in my mind, again, like the Jedi mind trick kind of way, right? You are now giving me exactly whatever I'm owed, which was like 60 or 70 bucks at that point, right? So and I kept telling that, and I hear him say, okay, yes, you are getting that, yes, you are receiving it, yes, you are receiving it. And I told him, like, thank you, right? I appreciate you, and things like that. So when I did that and had that kind of inner conversation, he immediately, like, forgot about the whole trading deal that he was trying to come up with, and he just gave me the money without me even, like, prompting anything from him. So what I always tell myself these days is that, oh, when anyone else, like, comes to me with these kinds of things, like whether family or anyone, I'll always tell them, it's okay, they will give it, they will return it, they have returned it. Come at it from that perspective. Like, in my, day-to-day conversation, I'll tell them, like, okay, they will return it, like, don't worry about it. But in your mind, keep telling them that they have already returned it, and do those things, like have an inner conversation with them, tell them, and, like, appreciate them for returning in a very quick and easy way, and do that instead. So in my experience, and in this client's experience as well, I guess the most effective technique that I found that was very useful was, having gratitude and inner conversation. right? And before that, of course, having a clear intention. I cannot understate that when it comes to any manifestation, having a clear intention. When you have a clear intention, in this case, it was very clear. She wanted the money that was owed, right? Applying gratitude only cements the idea that it's already done. What else do you do? Have an inner conversation to really cement it in your mind that it's already a done deal. And within 5 hours, she got it. So I really want to emphasize how easy it can be when intentions are clear, when it is being cemented in your mind. But nowhere did she think like, well, what if she doesn't return? I'm going to sue her, or I'm going to go and confront her for my sister and things like that. She did not do any of that. All she did was being grateful, and she took such a offhanded approach here. She had no involvement in it. She didn't speak to anyone on her sister's behalf, and she did nothing. All she did was setting the intention. Another way you can tackle this is seeing your this person that who owes you something. You can have an inner conversation with them, or them like just telling you don't even have to have a conversation. You can just hear them telling you, okay, here you go, take the money. Or if it's someone that you're manifesting for, like in this person's case, what I would say is that just like if let's say in her case it was a sister, right? So what I would do in this situation alternatively is see the sister like telling me, hey, this person actually gave me my money back, that's so great, right? So you can do that as well. So if you want someone to have a high rise job, for example, or get out of a poverty state, like Neville always says, like you shift them into that state of wealth, for example. How do you do that? Having an inner conversation. So you have an inner conversation with them where the person says to you like, hey, I've got an XYZ job, I'm so well. And you can do this for yourself as well. You telling a friend like, okay, I've so and so person has already returned me the money, I'm so happy. So my point is that there are a number of ways you can use the inner conversation to your advantage. So whatever perspective resonates with you guys, go ahead and use it. Like there's no fixed way. The reason why I gave you guys all three of those possibilities is because I don't want you guys to restrict yourself in certain way, because at the end of the day, manifestation techniques are tools, right? But not all tools are equal, I would say. Like some tools are more makeshift, right? Like really custom for that specific job. Some tools are more conventional, like you have your affirmations, your scripting, and some like inner conversations or the telephone technique. I would say it's like a little bit more like a makeshift tool, right? That are more special purpose built. But at the end of the day, the purpose of every single technique is for us to cement the assumption in our mind that it is already done. And if you can get yourself to do that, I would say any technique is fine. As long as it gets you to this point, any technique is fine. And that's the thing, like don't get too hung up on techniques, and like just focus on getting the assumption natural as possible in your mind, basically to make it as natural as possible in your mind, because that is the most like important thing, I would say. That's the essence of it, right? And what do I mean by natural as possible is making it like second nature to you. Like if I wake you up and ask you what's your name, you don't have to think, right? That is being second nature, right? It has cemented in your mind to the point where you can't think otherwise immediately. So if you could get to that point, it's done. You will naturally enter like Sabbath and whatnot, and then it's an easy game from there, and your desires will be yours even before you know it. And I really wanted to use this story as an example because I want you guys to know that things don't take long, right? If you don't want it to. But at the same time, don't really like obsessed with it, like, oh, I really want it. Or don't be like, oh well, what if it doesn't happen, or the time is making me nervous. No, it's done. Go and enjoy yourself in the meantime, because whether or not this person, like in this case, like owes her money or not, like her life has to still go on, right? She still has to do her duty, she still has to do her responsibilities and so on and so forth, right? She's not going to be sitting there and waiting for this person's text or thinking about ways to get this from that's not going to help. That sort of way is not going to help. That sort of thinking is not going to bring you anywhere, especially when it comes to manifesting anything that you want. So what I would say is that assume it's done, go by your life, enjoy your life, and before you know it, it's already yours. And that's the main thing. Like for me, one thing I've realized this year was, and I'll make a video on this as well down the line, but one thing that I really realized is that time just flies sometimes, right? 2022 is already over. As of recording, it's the 11th of December right now where I'm at. And like this year went so quickly, and I'm like, wow. And I know I almost say that for almost every single year these days, but it's like it was so surreal. Like I I can't even like put it into words right now. Like time just flies, and if you don't make the most out of it, you know you're quickly going to run out of it at one point. So make the most out of life. Your desires are already yours, but don't go from objective to objective. The journey in the middle as well, make the most out of it, soak it all in. And like the waiting times, the travel between point to point destinations with your friends or family, make the most out of those things. The conversations that you might have in the subways or the streets, when you say hi to someone on the street or your workplace and things like that, make the most out of it, feel it, soak it all in, because that's life too. You're here to experience those things too. And I really wanted to emphasize that, because we can be so in like thinking about the manifestation so much that we can miss out on life. And as a coach, it's my responsibility to remind you guys to not miss out on those things too, because like I don't miss out on those things these days. I had to remind myself, I had to practice that. But at this point in my life, I don't miss out on those things anymore, because I know that once this time goes, I'll never be this age again, I'll never be 23 again, right? And time is just going by, and I want to make the most out of it. I really want to maximize every single moment. And the key is to be aware of everything and soak it all in. And when you do that, when you make like your one of your primary objectives is like to maximize every moment of life, you kind of detach yourself from your whole desire as well. So it kind of removes a lot of resistance too. So that's the advantage for that too. So guys, that's it. If this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Turn on your bell notification so that you guys will know when I upload a new video every single week. The 1 week DM coaching giveaway is still going on. So when the channel hits 1,000 subscribers, or I will give out a 1 week worth of DM coaching to a lucky winner. And all this person has to do is essentially follow my page on Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So anyone who does that is automatically entered into the giveaway, and then I will randomly pick out a person and like coach them for a week. And yeah, so I'm really excited for it, and I'll be doing more giveaways as time goes by. It's my way of saying thank you to the community. So guys, thank you for watching. Stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.